for me, it's interesting. So obviously Walter White is married, but his wife was not on board, right?
No,
Like she was a monster.
everybody hated her.
She's
Like,
so
just shut
fucking
up,
bad.
Skylar. Just shut up.
Yeah. But I think it's really interesting because so in the red pill community, the manosphere, and I do want to talk about it, but I think there's this obviously there's this aversion to relationships. There's the Mgtow sort of philosophy, which is fine for a lot of guys to do that, but there's still a lot of guys out there who want to explore relationships and get married and do all that stuff. And the interesting thing to me is in 18 years of marriage, some of the best times that we've had are the rockiest times where there's adventures and there's pitfalls and there's like heartbreak and devastation, but also like it's like a roller coaster, but you're in it together. Like, and that's the trick. And I think that's where a lot of marriages end up breaking down is when they're on these things and the people are on different paths and different wavelengths. And it's because, you know, one person has their expectations. Maybe the woman's like expecting like you can't take that break from job. How will you do the thing? And it's when you find a partner though who I go with the biblical model, right? Like the two become one.
Mhm.
Then I don't think it's I think a lot of relationships get framed as kind of man versus woman struggling in a relationship.
Right.
Whereas when you become a partner, like there's no man woman, like you're just you guys together. And when you're on the same page, and for me, I've been very fortunate because when I stopped working at Thrivent Financial, I pay more in taxes than I made there. Now, like, but at the time, like it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? There's no there's no back office job out here in the country that we just moved to because we had just moved out into the middle of nowhere. I'm like, everything is front end retail. And if I do front end retail, I'm going to take an ice pick and shove it in my heart. Like I
Right.
cannot do this anymore. I did this already. I hate it. And so what was I going to do? I went to law school, but when I said, "Hey, sweetheart, I'm going to take 3 years and like not really work, and I'm going to do law school. Oh, and I'm going to have to drive like a long way." She's like, "Yeah, okay, like let's do it." And then when I was doing lawyering for a while, and I had my own law office, and I started doing YouTube, and after 9 months of it, I said, I think that if I just take like the time that I'm spending at my law office and I cut that expense. I shut that thing down. So I'm not paying, you know, all this money every month for all these things. And instead I go ahead and try a YouTube. Like I know it's weird, but I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to work like, I'm going to try and put in like 5 to 8 hours of time every single day in YouTube. And I think if I do that and I give it a good shot, I think I can perform better than and outperform my law practice.
Yeah.
And I said, "But it's gonna be tough for a little bit." Thank God it was only tough for like 5 months, and then things, like, started to take off
Thank you,
because
Kyle. Thank you so much, Kyle.
oh, this is before Kyle. This
Oh, was
is
it?
this is this is Vic Mignogna, and stuff, and it was like you like, live streaming on YouTube with super chats was kinda new, and, and so, like, I was you know, I was on the cutting edge of that, I guess, and things just kept building and building and building and you'd find stories and you'd find an audience kept growing and it was like damn, I'm putting in the same work that I was everywhere else and I'm getting way better results here. But that was only because, you know, I talked to my partner and we decided together, like, this is where we're going to go. There
Right.
was not her giving me this expert. Well, that's not a real job. You know, you're not going to make it. You can never do that. We were all in together. And that's the hard thing for guys to find, I think, because so many women now have like an expectation of how it's going to work out. And the funny thing is, like, I have this expectations like, bitch, you've never done this. Like,
Right.
you've never built the thing that you're demanding this guy build.
Right. And I think
Um,
actually a lot of guys are like that too. I mean, we're very much a fire and forget type of society. You know, it's people don't have the patience. Why do you think TikTok is doing so great versus YouTube or anything else? It's like 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. and we
And
become a fast.
14 of those seconds are this.
Yeah, right.
And once it's over, there's a chicken lingerie for 1 second. You're like, what the fuck just happened? What did I
You
miss?
you're on some very interesting channels on TikTok.
Dude, so the partnership was one thing. The second question I have, this was the left hook that was supposed to follow the right straight. So you are a content creator in the manosphere.
Yeah, I guess you could say manosphere, yeah.
I guess
It's a
or
kind of a
the
Wild West
the
type.
red pill community. I don't know what to
Yeah,
call it.
it's kind of a Wild West term anymore. It could mean a billion things, I think, because
Right. And
you've got
all of the
guys all
terms
over.
are kind of gay. Like I hate all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. There's no
Yeah.
arguments there, but it's kind of when you need to put. How do you explain what you talk about in 30 seconds or less without coming up with a term for it? If you're like, "Oh, I just bitch about feminist women and guys living a good life," like you know, it's really
But
it.
you've correct me if I'm wrong, but you've kind of walked away from the dating life. Like you're done. No,
No,
you're not done. Okay, so
no.
so
So one of the
are there
misconceptions.
hope for relationships? That's the ultimate question.
There's always hope. I'm not
Oh,
like I'm not a black pilled like screw women, screw relationships. Really, the kind of the idea behind going your own way, as it were. Don't put yourself in a position where the state can determine your fate.
yes. Okay, I
So,
gotcha.
if I decide, like, there's guys that have sworn off women. They're kind of like monk mode where they don't even hook up. They just kind of want to be the hermit in the woods.
Right.
Then there's guys that casually date. There's guys that are a little bit older that do the sugar daddy thing because sex work's real work now. At least
Yeah.
that's what I keep getting told.
Kind of wish I could
You've got
figure that out.
you've got guys that casually date. You've got guys that have girlfriends. There's married guys. But kind of even the married guys that are kind of in this philosophy is I'm the man of the relationship. I want to kind of determine our course. Like I'll determine the direction. Maybe the wife determines the speed. That the partnership's a little bit more traditional. There's really no hard and fast, and that's the thing I think a lot of people confuse. Guys going their own way is there's no. It's like the philosophy is just look out for yourself and understand what the world's throwing at you and then determine what you want to do with it. There's guys that are like, I fully know, what a relationship can entail. I know what a divorce can do to me. I know what losing my kids can do to me, but I'm going to go out dating and looking for a wife.
Right. They go, I see
Mm.
the risk and
Yep.
I'm risk tolerant to this level.
Right. And that's all it is risk reward. And so many people assume that that means that there's like, oh, here's the 7 rules that the guys that are doing this. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just I understand how women think. I understand how I think. I understand what can happen to me if I get in a bad situation with the courts or the law or the relationship. I know the statistics behind divorce. I know all of it. And now that I'm educated, I'm going to do X with it. And that X is
Yeah.
whatever the hell they want it to be. And
I think
so
that's where I see it. So my buddy, Drex, right? Like
I've seen him. I've never spoken with him or anything.
you got to. He's great. He's one of the funniest people on the fucking
Uh,
planet.
Next time you have him
Uh,
on, just shoot me an invite. I'll come on.
oh, it's done.
Yeah, I'll do
But
that.
Drex is like he's black pill on relationships, on marriage and everything. And like I can't get there because I really like mine,
Well, you
right?
you have a great advantage in that you guys met young.
Yeah,
You're each other's first.
right.
Things like I said, things were different when I was 20, way different. Things were different when I was
Yeah.
45, like 5 or 6 years ago. Once the dating apps took off and women got I deserve the best and I can do whatever and getting validation on TikTok, even if they're 6, but they look good in a bikini, like the world changed real quick.
Look,
And
bikinis are magic.
they are pretty nice.